First thing you need to do is drag your footage into After Effects, then drag it into your new composition. In this clip, we'll be tracking the player's helmet, since the username goes above it. There is one problem with this clip. As you can see when we scroll back, the player's helmet is out of view. We'll be fixing this later in the tutorial. Now we're ready to begin tracking the helmet. To do this, the first thing you have to do is go to the first frame where the helmet is in view. So right about here would be good. Now go to your sidebar and hit Tracker, then hit Track Motion. This makes a tracking marker that you can use to track a point on the helmet. Make sure to pick a point on the helmet that has a high contrast to the area around it. This will allow our marker to track it more easily. The smaller box in the marker tells you where you want the points to track. The outer box tells you where to look when the scene plays through. You don't want to make this too big or else it'll track onto similar looking points on the movie. If you make it too small, you won't be able to track the motion as the clip plays through. About here would be good. Now go back to the tracker and start analyzing forward one frame. This allows you to make sure that the marker is tracking onto the helmet correctly. As you can see, the marker has already lost track of the helmet. When this happens, you simply just drag the marker back onto the center of your point. The faster your point moves, the more often you'll have to do this. Now that the helmet is moving slower, you can see that the tracker is having a better time at guessing where it is. If the point you're tracking ever goes out of view, it's best to just pick another point with high contrast that is nearest to it. In this case, the black part of his helmet will do. When you're done with your track, you can just scroll through the timeline to see if it all looks good. Now go to the start of your clip. Go up to the top and hit Layer, New, Null Object. Go back to your tracker and hit Edit Target. Make sure that it's selected on the null object you just created. With your clip selected, hit Apply. When you scroll through the timeline, you can see that the red box is tracked to his helmet. Now wherever the helmet is not in view, you'll have to adjust the red box yourself. To do this, go to each frame where the helmet is not in view, and move the red box to where you think it would be in the scene. So now that that's all done, you can see that the red box tracks perfectly to his helmet. Now it's time to make the username. Go up to the text tool and start typing out your username. Adjust the size of the name and make sure it's over the player's head. Now go over to your text layer and parent it to your null object. Now when we play through the clip, you can see that the username tracks to his head. An extra thing that you can add is motion blur. To do this, go down to your timeline and check motion blur next to the text layer. Also, enable motion blur for the whole movie. Now when you play through, you can see that there's some motion blur on the text. And that's it! If you have any questions, post them in the comments section below.